Clemson attempted a half-court heave at the buzzer from right about here, but it was no good. And because of that, the Syracuse basketball team has its biggest win of the year under its belt. 55-52 over the number 18 Tigers, and the Orange has life entering March.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome back. I'm Jake Marsh with sports. Take a look at your calendar. It is March, the greatest month of the year for college basketball fans. In the next 4 weeks, there will be Cinderella stories, heartbreak, and buzzer beaters galore. But for Syracuse, the first order of business was snapping a 2-game skid at Boston College last night. Could the Orange get back on the right track? All right, so it's time to wrap up the show with a tradition unlike any other. No, not the Masters. Golf's biggest event is just around the corner, but it's time for our top performers of the week. All right, Christian, I just mentioned golf. I'm going to stay at the country club for a hot second, go to the start of the tennis team. How about Gabriella Knudsen? The junior clinched the SU victory in the biggest win in program history, a 3-set thriller over Georgia Tech's top player, and suddenly the Czech Republic native is top 10 in the country and named ACC Player of the Week. That's pretty remarkable. So it was an easy choice for me. Gabriella Knudsen, my top performer of the week. Rashid Suleiman's three-point stutter, Jim Boeheim's flying jacket, and who could forget John Gillen's buzzer beater. Syracuse and Duke added another chapter to what is still a young ACC rivalry over the weekend. So what would the 2018 version be known for? SU in Cameron Indoor Stadium looking for their biggest win of the year. Not many better places to do it than Durham, North Carolina. And the Orange tried to make a statement early on. Frank Howard, a straightaway three, too strong. Tyus Battle, he takes a stab. Nope. Frank Howard once again just not meant to be. O'Shea Brissett cannot get it down either. SU 0 of 10 from 3 in the first half. Jim Boeheim, oy vey, he can barely watch. Now looking at the home team, Crafty inside for Coach K's squad. Marvin Bagley, a lob from Grayson Allen, too easy. The freshman missed 4 games with a knee injury, has space here, a date with the rim, and Marquise Bolden, the power on the left side. His teammates are loving it, but for the Orange, only a matter of time before Tyus Battle takes over. He finally hits a 3, but with 6 minutes left, Gary Trent Jr. on the other side shreds the 2-3 zone. Grayson Allen, a floater here. It's almost March. Put a pot of gold on the other end of this rainbow floater. And with 4 minutes left, Wendell Carter Jr., a jump hook, too much size. 2 Hall of Fame coaches score this one to Coach K, and the Duke Blue Devils 60-44, your final. So another opportunity to make the tournament resume shine has come and gone for the Orange, and you can see the ugly numbers Syracuse had from downtown. Could have made those shots worth 4 points, and I'm not so sure SU would have had more success from beyond the arc. Nick Dugan was down in Durham on Saturday, and for the Blue Devils, the question going in was whether or not their big star would suit up. Welcome back to On the Bench. I'm Jake Marsh, recapping all you need to know from this past week in the SU Athletics program. Super Bowl Sunday, just a couple of days away. Lots of food will be consumed, no question about that. As for appetizers before the big game, some prefer chips and guacamole, pigs in a blanket, but me, I'll take Syracuse women's basketball's contest against number 4 Louisville to hold me over before kickoff. But before that one, the Orange traveled to Boston College over the weekend, seeking its first ACC road victory. The sound of the crack on a wooden bat, the smell of fresh hot dogs out of the concession stand, and of course the sights of a jam-packed ballpark. All those senses are now going to be happening every day around the country because it's opening day. Each of the 30 major league teams are in action today, and there is no shortage of hype around each of the 2 teams here in New York. It's the Yankees' debut for Giancarlo Stanton, the reigning home run king. Yeah, that guy, as the Bombers head north of the border to kick things off against the Blue Jays. And would you believe it? The big man went deep in his first at-bat, donning a new uniform. Syracuse basketball made history here inside the Carrier Dome today, but Orange fans, clog your ears. It was a tough kind of history. A 59-44 loss to number 2 Virginia marks the lowest offensive point total in Carrier Dome history by the Orange. So what's next for Jim Boeheim and SU? Well, the head coach says negativity cannot be an issue inside the locker room. Good afternoon, I'm Jake Marsh. After a big win over Maryland in the Dome on Monday, Syracuse travels down to Miami to square off against one of the best teams in the nation. In a battle of unbeatens and Hall of Fame coaches, Syracuse faces second-ranked Kansas in the Miami Hoop Hall Invitational Saturday. Not a bad choice, but I'm going to go with the star from the land down under. Who else but Tiana Mangakahia? The sophomore breaks the ACC record for most assists in a season, and there's still plenty of tournament play ahead of us. She had 22 points against Boston College on Sunday, making it now 10 games with at least 20 points. The court general, she can do it all. Drive, fire, score from deep range, and dish the ball off like no one else, Christian. If Syracuse is going to go far in March, she will be a big reason why, and there you have it. Tiana Mangakahia, she's my top performer of the week. Good evening, I'm Jake Marsh with sports. If you've attended just one Syracuse men's basketball game this year and looked over at the bench, you won't see many players take off their warm-up gear. Jim Boeheim has stuck to a 6, sometimes 7-man rotation all year long, and that won't change anytime soon. So what are some of the benefits to a thin depth chart? Let the Hall of Famer explain. And so now bracket play begins. Syracuse is locked in at the 11th seed in next week's ACC tournament in New York City. The Orange officially has a date with number 14 Wake Forest at 7 p.m. on Tuesday night in Brooklyn. And so for the final time this season, signing off from the Carrier Dome, Jake Marsh, Citrus TV.